Hey, you're about to watch my interview with Merkules, an incredible rapper out of Surrey, BC.
I don't want to start breakdancing in the studio right now. You don't get me too gassed up, you know what I mean?
He's going to tell us stories about Snoop Dogg, Shaquille O'Neal.
What's up? That Merkules album dropped tomorrow. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
And just going on the road and sharing his rap. I'm so pleased to welcome Merkules to Q. How's it going?
I'm so pleased to be here. Like I was saying, I really appreciate you. So thank you for having us.
I have to say that we had a date in August. You were supposed to come through.
I know. I'm the worst.
And then this is the only excuse I will take from you.
Okay.
Is that you broke your leg?
No.
Is that what happened?
I had a situation going on where I couldn't walk. I rolled my ankle. Like,
you rolled your
ankle? And it was terrible. And like I'm already a heavy set dude, so when that happens, like I'm out of commission for a while. But and it tends to happen like every couple months. I don't know what my problem is, but yeah, that's what happens. So.
Well, I'm glad that you made it.
For sure.
And that you're okay now.
Happy to be here.
Touring like mad. But all that came at a pretty terrible time.
Yeah.
Because the album had just come out, new album. How did you cope with all of that once that?
Honestly, when the albums come out, like like when I'm creating an album, it's kind of my baby. So it's like I've been sitting there with it for a while.
Yeah.
And then when I give it to the world, I get obviously nervous. So it was interesting because here I am cooped up at home with my foot out of commission. So I kind of just like had to sit there and read the comments, which I try to avoid because sometimes I can get in my own head. But the feedback was amazing. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got to take a break to take care of your physical health, and that's something that I'm starting to learn.
That's right.
Yeah, no, the album did really well, and it seemed to get really great feedback, and I'm just grateful for that. So
you have to kind of follow the signs, right? And that's a sign.
Totally.
Slow it down.
Yeah.
Slow it down.
I'm a very spiritual person, and the universe has a strange way of telling you when it's time to chill out for a little bit, you know? So
it feels to me like that's been kind of, we're going to talk about it, but your path has been kind of like that, where it's just like these signs have been just sort of
to say the least, yes,
it's been
a roller coaster for sure.
Can you first walk me through what it was like when you found out that Death Row Records wanted to sign you?
Of course, yeah. So there's a gentleman by the name of Kevin. He's actually from London, Ontario, and he's been in my corner supporting me for as far back as I can remember. And he's been working with Snoop on his day-to-day for like over 20 years now. So he's been supporting me whenever Snoop comes to town. He would always get me tickets and like let me stand side stage, and it was a cool experience. But once Snoop got Death Row back, he just kind of wanted to have like real spitters representing the label and being the face of that. And I remember when I got the phone call, I almost thought it was a joke. I thought I was being trolled. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I literally hung the phone up and I got the text and it was like, no, you should probably call us back. This is serious. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously as a kid with Snoop Dogg posters on my wall, it was a very surreal experience. And it's interesting because they tell you to never meet your heroes because sometimes they'll let you down. But in Snoop's case, it's so the opposite of that. Like, he brought us on the road. He showed me a lot and teaches me a lot. And he's just been the most genuine uncle a guy could ever have. So shout out to Snoop. Shout out to everybody at Death Row. And it means a lot to us that they've embraced us the way they have. So
I'm wondering about when you were bumping Snoop in the 90s.
Yeah, of course.
What it was about, that vibe that caught you.
Actually, I have a cousin named Scott, and I remember whenever we would do family trips to go see family, he would always be like, hey, come hang out with me. I'll show you like all my posters and all this stuff. And I was just so intrigued by it.
Yeah.
This is in like the Napster, LimeWire era, you know what I mean? Where we're downloading music online. And he just showed me a whole bunch of artists, and I just knew at that very moment. Like, it's like a core memory for me. Like, the nostalgia comes back even talking about it. But that was the very moment where I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. Like, I'm so intrigued by this that I know this is my calling, and ever since then I've never looked back. So shout out to him for putting me in position to know that this is what I want to do. You know what I mean?
Let me let you listen to a little something.
Okay.
With so much drama in the LBC,
Come on.
It's kind of hard being Snoop Double G, but somehow, some way, keep coming up with funky this like every single day. May I kick a little something for the G's?
I don't want to start breakdancing in the studio right now. You don't get me too gassed up. You know what I mean?
I don't want another ankle incident.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
exactly.
let's just not
let's
go
chill
there.
out for sure.
Gin and Juice, come on, from Doggy Style. Do you remember buying that CD?
Yeah, actually, I have a funny story about that. So I had a babysitter at the time. I was like that young. I had a babysitter, and he was actually seeing my cousin, and nobody knew about it, but I did because I was like the little kid that they would both watch together.
Dating?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she was living in our basement at the time, and he wanted to keep this secret to himself. And I remember him being like, "Hey man, like don't tell your mom and dad, but like me and your cousin are like been hanging out." I'm like, "Yeah, it's all good." And I made him go to HMV and get me Doggy Style and Exhibit's Restless on tape. I remember there was a cassette, and then I also had the album, but it was the censored version.
Right.
Yeah, he was like, "This is my offering to you to keep our secret," and it was all good. But shout out to him.
What a path it's put you on.
Yeah, totally.
So now you mentioned you meet your hero, and it's like, wow, okay. Did you learn anything from being on tour,
Yeah.
watching him every night doing his thing?
For sure.
What did you learn from that?
When he's on stage, he's up there and he's just so calm and collected and cool. And like my thing is when I get on stage, like I used to have this issue where I would go from 0 to 100 and I would just start screaming on stage and doing the most. But then I started watching him live and I'm like, you know what? You don't have to do all that extra stuff. You know what I mean? Like you can just chill and do your thing. And he taught me that just watching him. And it's ironic because I actually rolled my ankle on that tour, too.
You did not.
Yes, and he had this whole medical team ready to go. They came on our tour bus, wrapped me up, gave me all the things that I needed, and I was good to go. I didn't know if I was going to be able to perform that night. This was in Winnipeg, and it's funny enough, a fan caught it on tape while I was leaving the venue. But no, I've learned so much on that tour, like, honestly. Definitely a pinch me moment still doesn't feel real. You know what I mean? I have moments where I'm just like, whoa, we actually did that. You know what I mean? And it was my first arena run, so I've never done an arenas yet. And to be on stage in front of 15, 20,000 people every single night was extremely surreal. But yeah, no, it was interesting to say the least. And I still can't believe he put us in position to do that. But I learned so many things. Like maybe if you had 6 hours, we could talk about everything. But no, Snoop is
Tell
the man.
me one thing that you carry
with you.
One
specific thing?
Yeah.
You don't have to do the most. You can just be up there. People are happy to see you. And just tell your story because that's the most important part. And me with my live show, I do a lot of speeches in between songs and stuff like that because it's kind of like we're preaching like the gospel when we're up there. But I know how important it is for people to find relatability and vulnerability when they're at our shows. And to me, that's everything.
Yeah.
That's literally why we do this at the end of the day. So, I think just learning that you don't have to go out there and just be super crazy and just like do all this extra stuff. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
That's what he taught me. Being yourself is okay.
Yeah, that's
you know what
right.
I mean? For
That's
sure.
right. That self starts somewhere. So I want to take you back to Surrey.
Yes,
BC,
of course.
and what life was like for you back there as a kid. Like, how were you growing up? Like, what was going on?
Like I've always been blessed in the parent department, and I say this on stage every night. I know not everybody can say that out loud. I'm an only child, so I don't have any siblings, but my parents took all my friends in that were from broken homes and kind of helped raise them as well. My parents are incredible human beings, but Surrey, I don't think they realized like how crazy it gets out there when they decided that that's where they were gonna raise me. But growing up, like I was always like reckless and rebellious, and I always like tried to find my voice by doing rebellious things. But then through music, I was able to like put all that behind and leave kind of the streets behind in that sense. But my parents, they're incredible, and Surrey is a very interesting place, like I said, and.
What do you mean when you say it's crazy? Like it's
I just mean there's a lot of violence. There's a lot of things that happen out there.
Right.
At the end of the day, and I know that I'm kind of the spokesperson for it now in some ways because I've kind of become the face of like hip hop from Surrey, and that's okay. I'm happy to hold that torch. It comes with a lot of responsibility. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, like I'm happy to be the spokesperson for it and just be like, look, like I want to show you that there is such thing as positive change if you put the work in. And I say this on stage as well, but I got manifest tattooed on my face. I'm a very like spiritual person. I believe in putting things in the universe, and doing so, I've been able to get here. But I'm proud of my city. I'm happy to carry the torch, and I just hope that anybody from my city, especially the youth watching this, realizes that you can really do anything you want if you try hard enough, and nothing is impossible at the end of the day. So,
what these supportive parents of yours? What were their thoughts when you were like, you know what? I'm gonna rap. That's what I want to do. You know,
at first,
were they right there? Or
I mean, at first it was like, "Are you sure?" You know what I mean? But the thing is I always struggled in school. When it comes to the school system, I would like to say on a platform like this that I feel like every kid learns differently, and I specifically was not learning the way that maybe every other child was learning, and my parents came to understand that I'm not like every other kid in that way. But with all that being said. when I told them like music is my calling, this is what I want to do, they were just happy because that was keeping me out of trouble. It was something that I could focus on, something that I could put all my time and energy into, and for the most part, like I said, it was my saving grace, because without music, I could have been in jail or dead in the street, or who knows, you know what I mean? And yeah, no, my parents, they're incredible, but it took them a while to like adjust to the fact that I said I want to be a rapper. You know what I mean?
This is what happened,
For
though,
sure.
right? But
Yeah.
now they're on board.
Totally. I remember the Up in Smoke tour came to Vancouver, and I was so excited about it because I was just this kid, just like so drawn to rap music, and I remember just trying to convince them to let me go with my friend and his older brother, and it was cool because eventually they were like, okay, you can go, you're in safe hands, we figured it out, we called your friend's parents, everything's good, and that was obviously a Snoop tour, right? So to be able to go to that show when I was so young, and then go on an entire countrywide tour with him all these years later, like it was crazy. So
Wild,
Yeah.
wild. I want to play an older song of yours.
Okay.
Because you rap about a pretty life-changing moment in this one.
Yeah.
I
think I know where we're going with this.
Let's have a listen.
Yes, for sure.
Machete swinging 2 arms out, so I'm running trying to get away, but in a state of shock, I was screaming for my life. I just want to make them stop. Got knocked out with a bat, they were taking me out. Then I remember Buddy put a switchblade in my mouth. We were only a kilometer away from my house. I'm thinking I'm about to die. I was
Man, oh man.
Yeah.
Like it feels bad, like bopping your head to that, because it's such a harrowing story. It's from 2016. I know, obviously, the song comes from a pretty heavy moment in your life. I was
Yeah.
hoping you might be able to tell me
Yeah, I would love to
the
share.
story and walk me through that day.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a very interesting day, especially because that very day that this traumatic experience happened, I actually recorded like one of my first songs ever in a real studio. And I was just so excited to share the song with my friends. Like I always looked up to the older guys, and they had this party going on, so I brought it on a burnt disc to the party to show everybody. And ironically enough, while leaving said party, a situation happened where I was walking down the street and a car almost hit us, and it was snowing, it was New Year's, and I was like, hey, slow down, like any person would when they almost get
course.
hit by a car. And it was me, a friend of mine, our 2 girlfriends at the time, and the guy's like, I'll be back, and I'm like, okay, Arnold, whatever, it is what it is. And then he came back, and a situation happened where just, we got jumped, and I got stabbed in the face. And as unfortunate as that situation is, and like how you said just now, like maybe it feels weird to like bump your head to it, I don't even look at it as a negative experience anymore, because if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have found the trajectory that I have found to be able to do what I'm doing now. I feel like that was kind of like my smarten up moment that I needed to be able to keep going and to get to where I'm at. I actually thank them in the end of that song, because if they didn't do that to me, as tragic and as traumatic as it may have been, I wouldn't have learned my lesson, and it was kind of my wake-up call. So I got a machete across the face, a switchblade. My friend that I was with got stabbed through the hand and the shoulder and the face as well, and it was very traumatic. But at the same time, sometimes you have to go through experiences like that to realize what really matters at the end of the day. And I was able to like just keep doing what I had to do to get to where I'm at. And like I said, I'm actually grateful for the moment.
Yeah.
And so.
Did it change the way that you thought about your career? Because you said you had just recorded your first song
Yeah.
in studio.
Yeah.
Does that like clarify things for you when something like
for
that
sure.
happens, as far as what you need to do creatively?
110%. It's crazy because, like you were saying, with this new record that we just did, it's called Survivor's Guilt, right?
Yeah.
And when you go through an experience like that, I got diagnosed with survivor's guilt through therapy, because I've lost so many friends to different situations, and I've also been through traumatic stuff myself. And the album kind of named itself. That's why we called it that, because I didn't know what that was. I didn't know survivor's guilt was a thing that existed until I went to therapy. And to anybody listening, I suggest therapy to everybody and anybody. I wish therapy was free. I know it's not a cheap thing to do, but I wish everybody had an opportunity to go through it. But it definitely shaped who I am as a person. And I hadn't put a record out in like 5 years, so I was like a little bit nervous to put the new album out. But it's definitely the most like personal, introspective like version of me that I've ever been able to convey through a project. And I mean, like I said, I'm still here somehow. So
You're a great writer,
thank you so much.
an excellent storyteller.
Yeah.
were you always a writer? Were you always were you the kid that would like put pen to paper? Were you good in your English class,
Yeah.
like as
Yeah.
opposed to
Surprisingly
forget
enough,
math.
yeah. Like unfortunately, I didn't graduate. But in school, I remember the teachers being blown away because like I remember it was like grade 5 and there was a speech fest where like you would write a speech and then get up there and basically say your speech to the whole school, and it was a very nerve-wracking thing, but I actually won the whole speech fest, and nobody could believe it because I was like kind of like just the problem child to everybody and like the class clown and like whatever, you know what I mean? So they were very surprised that like I put something together that where I was managed to win the entire thing. And I remember that being kind of like another moment for me when I was young as a kid to be like, you know what, like maybe I got something here. Maybe it works. And my dad, like he's a writer and always has been. Like he wrote a whole book that never got published, but like that's always been his calling as well. That's been something that he's enjoyed since he was a kid. So I think it runs in our family to an extent. And yeah, I've always just enjoyed writing, and it's therapeutic to me. That's how I kind of get through my stuff. You know what I mean? Like the way I sit in it when I'm going through something, I sit in it by making the music, and then it's cool because I give it to the world. And then when the world gets it, it helps other people. And like I say this all the time, but it's a legitimate superpower. It feels like it's crazy. So yeah.
I love the idea of a superpower because that means like there's an origin story, and there's always a moment when the superhero is like, whoa, I am a superhero.
Character development. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Totally.
I wonder for you if there was a moment on stage rapping ever, like, or wherever you were, where you were like, this is it. This is my superpower.
Yeah.
Like I can see people reacting to it in
Totally.
a way.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah,
Like tell me about that time. Do you remember? Do you remember?
I definitely have like core moments where I'm like, wow, this is like actually making the impact that I've always wanted to make. But to be honest, the show is the show in the sense that like it's muscle memory.
Yeah.
And I get up there and you kind of do the same thing every night. And sometimes it almost feels not as genuine as you would like it to because you're doing the same thing every night. But it's the meet and greets that really taught me that.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the meet and greets, you're meeting people, like like-minded individuals going through stuff, and they're telling me these stories about how a specific song changed their life. And like I go back and I revisit the time in my head when I made that song. And when I made that song, it helped me get to where I'm at when I was going through my stuff. And like I said, having to sit in it. So just to be able to hear other people's stories. And when I'm on stage, don't get me wrong, looking in the crowd and seeing people cry. Like there was a show we did the other night in, I believe it was Vancouver. And I was looking in the front row, and there was this girl who just knew every single word. And the whole time her face is just covered in tears. And I try to make my show, as much as we like to have fun, it's a therapy session. Like, I'm trying to offer them a cheaper version of therapy by being able to just buy a ticket and come to a Merkules show. So it means a lot to me. And at the end of the day, that's why we do it. It's just to help people. And obviously, like, selfishly enough, it helps me too. But yeah, that's what I would say for sure. Yeah.
You've done something that's pretty, I mean, it's remarkable in that you got millions of views, billions of views on YouTube, right? And you did all that before you had major backing from
For sure.
a
Yeah.
label.
Totally. Yeah.
Like, can you tell me about that process and what you learned being
course.
like that kind of artist that had to do it all
Yeah.
yourself from
Yeah.
jump?
For sure. I think that being independent is important. And I feel like we're living in a time right now where maybe people don't say it out loud enough, but I feel like the label is starting to need the artist more than the artist is needing the label, if we're being real.
Oh, that's interesting.
And when it comes to Death Row, like, obviously I'm so happy that that's my home now, but like that to me is like, it's more of a cosign than anything. It's Snoop saying, hey, we got a home for you and we would love for you to be a part of this. But at the end of the day, like, I just feel like you can be a one-person army when it comes to your music and your career and everything that you're doing. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to knock labels, but at the same time, I just feel like a lot of artists don't realize that if they just work hard enough, they can do it themselves, and with the proper team, like having the right people in your corner, it is very possible. So as far as me just having my come up without necessarily having like a major backing or anything that like that, I pride myself on that because at the end of the day, the lessons that you learn putting yourself on the line like that and going out there and doing those tours, sleeping in hostels, coming home with bed bugs, jam-packing 5 sweaty dudes into a Honda Civic to go on tour, like that's where I learned all my lessons. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't trade that for the world. Sometimes I actually miss it, which is ironic enough. Like there's times where we can do a show for...
You don't miss the bed bugs.
No, not the bed bugs. But,
okay, all right.
But we can go on tour and we can play in front of 20,000 people with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
But it's the times where we played for 5 people that I had to learn the lessons that I carry with me now that I'll never forget. And that to me is something that's like irreplaceable.
That's
so,
right. That's right. And you'll carry that with you for
sure.
throughout.
Totally.
Let's get to Survivor's Guilt. Let's have a listen to this one.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been out here trying to exercise my demons and find a deeper meaning, so I never gotta meet them. I've been on one, I try to do the best of my convenience, but every time I try, I wind up stepping off the deep end. I'm far from the place I like to be at in my life, which is ironic, cause I claim that I don't need no one's advice, so when it's all done, probably never read between the lines, it's time to face the music, stupid, you should leave it all behind. Purpose for this kid.
Yeah.
Love it.
Thank
Love
you. I
it.
appreciate that.
A little of my guest, Merkules, with his song Out Here featuring Nova Scotia's Classified.
It's a tongue twister right there.
East Coast,
Yeah.
West Coast,
For
no
sure.
beef. It's just all good. It's all love, right?
100%.
You've said you spent 5 years on this album and you had to reach deep into your soul and do some inside work to deliver it.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I wouldn't say necessarily that I spent 5 years on the album. It was more that I just was kind of taking like a mental health break for myself.
Okay.
And then the mental health break ended up taking a lot longer than I expected it to. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still dropped multiple remixes and different things throughout those many years, but I just hadn't delivered a project in full in that many years. And obviously working with a guy like Classified is always a blessing. Like, I still have memories of being in Edmonton at my auntie's house, skateboarding in her driveway in the summertime, and I had like a little MP3 player, and I just had like a couple Classified records just on loop, and like to be able to work with a Canadian legend like himself means a lot to me. Yeah, like I said, like when you take that much time off of doing a full body of work and giving it to the world, you kind of get like a little bit anxious because you don't know what people are going to say. But
That's right.
It was the first time ever that I can say out loud, thankfully enough, through the grace of God, that we had the #1 album for 2 weeks in the States and also in Canada. So usually, like, don't get me wrong, I'm stoked when it happens because sometimes we'll get it for an hour or maybe 24 hours if we're lucky enough. But for 2 entire weeks straight, like, I didn't expect that to happen. And like I said, Survivor's Guilt is such an important title to me. I tried to make sure that I covered every single vibe, whether it's your happiest moments or your saddest. I just wanted to, like, reach as deep down inside of my own soul as possible and give the world what I felt was important. And I'm really proud of this project. So
You picked up some real marquee guests on this.
Yeah.
This is one specific track on here. It features someone who doesn't do many guest spots. Let's have a listen.
Oh, yes, of course. That's OG.
I stand on guard for thee. Big Diesel, my pockets is E-Diesel. Spin your block, Vin Diesel. On y'all, Jim Seagulls. Vegas like Ben Siegel. Stunting like Knievel.
He's incredible.
Charm like Big
That's
Eagle.
true.
All the diamonds see-through. Rock steady.
I was surprised.
Yeah,
Merkules, who is that?
that is Shaquille O'Neal, the legend himself.
does
Entrepreneur,
one,
basketball legend, rapper,
like,
just OG.
How does that happen? How do you end
So-
up with a 4-time NBA champion, TV personality,
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal, Diesel?
For sure.
How-
Another pinch me moment.
How?
So basically, I put out a remix many years ago. I think it was like 2017 now, but don't quote me on it because I could be wrong. And World Star had posted it, and he just happened to see it through Instagram. And picture me in the studio, just like a regular day, just making some music, what have you. And all of a sudden, my phone beeps, and I look down, and it says Shaquille O'Neal is DMing you. And I'm like, okay, this can't be real. Another one of those moments like when Snoop reached out about the Death Row thing. I freaked out. I was like, this is insane. And then he sent me a video of him like lip syncing the words to the song because he had been listening to it so much.
Yeah.
And then I remember him telling me,
And you're
hey,
like, is this a deep fake? Come
yeah,
on.
and like
What?
back then, like we didn't have AI the way it is now,
That's
but if
right.
it happened now, I'd be even more concerned. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, we got on the phone and he was like, hey, I want to make a record with you. I was like, I would love that. He ended up putting a video on YouTube of him auditioning to work with me, which is insane. You can still look it up. Type in Shaquille O'Neal audition and Merkules and you'll find it.
I told Merkules I'm really Superman and Hercules. Black Hawk with a lot of that cheese. Flow smooth like a Canadian breeze. Sasquatch in Vancouver busting right through the trees.
I was like, what even is this? Like, I was just absolutely mind blown. And then me and him built a relationship. I actually spent some time with him about like a month or two ago at a show he did in Vancouver because he's doing his DJ thing. And he is just an incredible human. Another prime example of it's okay to meet your heroes sometimes because they won't always disappoint you. He gives me so much knowledge and so much game, and I just look up to him in so many ways because of just the entrepreneurship that he's been able to create, the relevance that he's been able to have over all these years outside of his career in basketball, and he is just the absolute coolest. So shout out to Big Bro, that's Shaq. We love him, yeah.
Love that story for you. I like that
sure.
connection. That's a cool connection.
I'm proud I got him back in the booth, too, because a lot of people don't even know that Shaq had a very big career in music, but it was so far back, a lot of people forget that part. So shout out to him.
Before we go, I want to jump to another single. I think it's. I would call this your latest single.
Okay.
Which isn't on this album because I think there's a connection point here.
I can't stop chain smoking, you can smell it on my clothes. And I've been so insecure, I feel like everybody knows. Like everyone's got a grudge and they won't never let it go. Late nights and stage fright, I'm getting ready for the road. I got way too much baggage, I can't bring it on this plane. I can't focus on tomorrow if I'm living for the day. I used to lie awake at night and try to listen to the rain. Now I'm relying on these substances to get me through the pain. Insane, it's like my brain doesn't want me to win. You can change, but all this fame will make it hard for you, kid. It's like I'm on the Truman Show, how'd I fall for this shit? Embrace your trauma, put it out on your skin, that's what I did.
I find it hard to read YouTube comments sometimes.
Yeah, of
and
course.
I'm sure that
Me too,
you, I'm
Don't sprain your ankle because then you'll have to.
I'm
You'll be
telling
stuck,
you, you're
know
just
what I mean?
sitting there reading them.
Yeah.
But I wanted to give you a quick sample from the comments to the video to that song
I would love
there.
that. Yeah, for sure.
This song helped me today. I don't feel as alone now.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one. This song was made for me. I can relate too much to these lyrics. Hit my soul like a slug.
I'm trying not to cry myself hearing that. So
Here's another one. Been listening since 15, bro. You got me through some crazy stuff. Much love, homie.
yeah.
First off, what's it like to know your music is touching people like that?
Like I said, that's why we do it. I've been an addict and been struggling with substance my entire life. And I think it's very important that we say those things out loud because the more that we bury those things inside, the more it's going to become a burden on your mental health. And I'd love to also be the spokesperson to say, hey, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to go through those everyday struggles. And those voices are still very loud in my head. I've been on and off that wagon a million times. So to hear comments like that, it means the most because as ironically enough as they're saying, hey, this song showed me I'm not alone, it's also showing me that I'm not alone.
Oh, yeah.
Finding the relatability, seeing that it's working for people while they hear these records. So, yeah, just to anybody listening that's struggling with addiction, just know that, like, I say this on stage too, but if you tried just a little harder today than you did yesterday and just keep working and working, you can get there eventually. I'm not perfect by any means. Some people think that because I'm vocal about my addictions that I've found some sort of cheat code or something like that, and it's really not that. There is no like just specific cure that's going to fix everything, but like I said, you just got to keep trying hard and just know that 9 times out of 10 you're probably more loved than you realize.
Yeah.
And I know that that's easier said than done because I know what those demons are like to battle with in your head. But to anybody struggling with any sort of substance abuse, I'm not here to judge them for whatever their vices may be, but just know that I'm a person that's been there many times, 100 times over, and I'm here for you too. So that's how I'd like to address that for sure.
The album is called Survivor's Guilt. You've survived so much in your life. Can I ask about, so many people are leaning into you and your music, as we heard in those comments. Is there someone in your life that you lean on to get through it all?
100%. My wife, my mom, my dad. I call her my wife. We're engaged. We're not actually married yet, but she's
Get that ring.
Oh, I already did. Trust me.
Okay.
She's got it. She's got the
Okay.
ring. But we've been together for 11 years.
Wow.
And she means the world to me.
Yeah.
And on the days that I'm having the hardest of times and people don't see those parts, right? They just hear the music. And don't get me wrong, I try to address that in the music too. But she's my queen. I'm so grateful for her. I know I can always pick the phone up and she'll give me the real. She's not going to sugarcoat anything. She's going to tell me what she knows I need to hear, not what I want to hear. And I'm so grateful for that. Same situation with my mother and my father. And I have a lot of very good friends. I have a very good team behind me. It's interesting because I'm a people pleaser. And that's one of the number one things I'm learning in therapy is that I need to work on that. But with all that being said, like, it's become very evident in the past few years who's really there in my corner and who isn't. And I just want to say I'm grateful for the people that are, because I would not be right now with you, talking to you. I would probably be in the depths of my addictions and my mental health battles and stuff like that if I didn't have my team, my wife, my mom, my dad. So I'm grateful. Yeah.
Merkules, it's been so nice to get to know
Absolute
you
pleasure.
a little bit more. And thanks for making the music.
Of course.
And thanks for coming in and spending some time with us.
Thank you for having me. It means the world, honestly. It really does.